Welcome to Charting Cryptos, Commodities, and Currencies. Let's jump first into Bitcoin. It is down for the day. We are looking at the 24-hour-a-day Bitcoin chart. We can see that it is, again, green candles after some sideways slides and reds. We can see where things topped out on the two-day candle back on Thursday. And we can see where since then things have sort of slowed down and slid down. If we look at this half-day chart, you can see where things peaked on Tuesday here. They also were popping up on Saturday there. And on, I'm guessing, let me see here, it's hard to get back there, on Friday Friday where they popped up. So anyway, let's move back. Where we are with Bitcoin and where things are at this point is, and this is again this annoying thing that I see here where somehow occasionally I just have to reset these to get them to show up right on the chart. But what do we see with Bitcoin? Well, we see where it is slowing in its up move. Still in a confirmed up move, but not looking so great. And again, we want Bitcoin to get back. We want it to be more like the S&P 500, NASDAQ 100, 20-year bonds, to a smaller extent gold, so that it moves in discernible patterns. We look at Ethereum. We can see, again, a green spinning top up a little bit. We can see with the latest two-day candles down. We have a whole pattern of down half-day candles. And we want to be able to trade on our bigger chart, on our weekly chart. Why? Because there's more in it for us. Not little moves, but big, long moves in charts that really are the kind that you can use to forecast where things are going. Very difficult with Bitcoin. Two-day chart looks a little easier. Half-day chart, a little, but all of it is scary with these kinds of surges, and where you see things go from green to red to green to red to green, and it's just hard to find real patterns. That doesn't portend for great trading. Now, practice trading for us. Now, what do we see going on the Bitwise 10 Crypto Index Fund? This is the top 10 cryptocurrencies weighted as per market share, as per the size of them. Of course, Bitcoin would be the big thing. And of course, we can see, like on this two-day chart, where things really popped up on Wednesday the 21st. And then, of course, what happened? Just sort of staying about the same place. We do see on the weekly chart again, we saw where things went from red to green. Again, they just sort of slid along, and then they popped over with a spinning top. And as we see where things went up, we can see the high so far this week, 1147. Last week, 1140. So not getting us anywhere necessarily all that good, although this is a little more trackable, at least it's a little more trackable than Bitcoin is, but nothing wonderful. You want to see a good chart. I talk about this all the time in the program. Something like the S&P 500, where you just see it go from green to red to green to red to green to red, and it's highly chartable and trackable. That's all we ask for. That is what makes our cryptocurrencies so much more difficult. I started tracking these because you guys wanted me to, not because I necessarily wanted to. I was fascinated to see if they were trackable, and we found in the past some time periods where they've been, but since the big Bitcoin drop, not a whole lot there for us. But we will keep going. We will keep checking out week by week to see if and when, and I'm sure it's a matter of when they start becoming trackable. Let's move on to commodities. Look at what's happened with corn. We had corn moving up nicely, and then boom, this week just pounding over. We saw things just stop after, many up candles. We did have back on the two-day candle for the 8th and 9th of June. We saw, though, where things just sort of stopped, and then on Friday and Monday, Friday of last week, Monday of this week, boy, it really burned off a lot of energy and then hard down on the Tuesday, Wednesday, and a red spinning top. So just interesting that corn, tried to shoot up and then sort of shot up. You can see where it hit what might be a bit of a ceiling here from this prior up move all the way back in December, and then just rolled off that. So interesting. Same thing we see with copper. Moved up for 3 weeks and then just shot over going down. Silver tried to get a little energy after moving down, and then of course it's been down, not hit the lows this week of last week, but again just sort of rolled over, died on the vine. This is interesting now as we look at natural gas. Natural gas heading down for quite a while, got along the bottom, scraped along, tried to move up back in May, and then it looks like it started taking off about mid-June and moving up. So interesting to watch and see. Lastly, we'll go to our currencies. We'll first start with the euro. Euro bottomed out at the week ending, well, where it really bottomed out was the week beginning Tuesday, the 30th of May. We can see here where we had higher than average volume and we pierced the low there and then slowed down over the next week, didn't hit that low again, and then turned around the following week and has been up 3 weeks. We can see the high so far this week, 101.40. Last week, 101.50. So we've not hit the high of last week yet. Down for the day, 0.44%. So we are watching as it's stalling a little bit. But you can see on this half-day chart where it stalled for a while and if it's going to take off again. What about the British pound? Well, like the euro, it tried to turn around and move up. Hard to see much in the way of volume here to be all that helpful. This week, though, really slowing down quite a bit. You can see on the 2-day candle where it topped back on the 16th of June, that Friday, Monday candle, and then, of course, has been devolving since then. We look at where we are on the Canadian dollar. Canadian dollar, again, sort of slowing down its up move. We got a doji on that 2-day candle that finished drawing today. So after many 2-day candles of nice, strong up moves, it slowed down quite a bit. If you're in a Canadian dollar, pay close attention in your practice trade to what's going on with the 2-day. And also as we see things really slacken and move down on that half day. Let's see if we can get that. If I can get it to pick up. There we go. It popped it back in there for us, but we can see the trend line now. Now, lastly, we'll take a look at the Aussie dollar. We can see again where it popped up. We talked last week about it really shaving off a lot of energy, which it did, and of course a red down week going through the trend line, no matter how you want to draw it. If you want to bring it up to date with where it was last week, really came off of that. And of course, piercing, heading down quite strongly. That is where we are on our cryptos, on our commodities, and on our currencies. Again, if you can chart it, you can practice trade it. So we encourage you to realize there's a whole world out there of so many things, whether it's cryptocurrencies, whether it is real currencies, whether it is commodities. You can find ETFs in all these areas, and they offer you great opportunities. Remember, first rule is they have to be chartable. If you can't find discernible patterns in them, you are wasting your time. Next, you want to look and see how liquid they are. What's the difference between the bid and the ask? You're going to be taking a huge loss the minute you get in because the difference between the bid and the ask are dollars apart. That means it's not liquid. You want to find liquid things that are chartable, and then you want to practice trade them till you figure out if they truly are chartable and can be successful. Many can, some can't, and you know what? Most of the time, you're not really going to know it until you practice trade it for a while to see if it works. Thanks so much for being with us. Always love to hear from you. CW@chartingwealth.com.